Hello, Steve Arts, Trekboy89 for Steve Arts 89. Yeah, there's some more rumors about Star Trek and the whole Skydance, CFC, what the hell ever it is, all that drama. It's mostly been the Trek guy and his Tachyon Pulse that I sort of talk about whenever it comes up. I just feel like I'm just repeating him sometimes, so I didn't really talk about the last couple of videos. But Doomcock is reporting similar things. He says he's been hearing things for a while that he didn't report because they were so over the top that he sort of wasn't really believing them. But now he's starting to hear that these things are actually happening. So he just said, I'm just going to throw all the rumors out there and just, let you all know what I'm hearing so you can see how crazy it is. Yes, I do occasionally watch a Doomcock video if he's hating on something I hate on because they're entertaining when they're doing that. Most of the time, no, they're just homophobic twats and chuds and cringe. But yeah. So that's the problem because, sometimes people just make up stories people like me want to hear. And, people who hate on Kurtzman, they just make up stories about, oh, he's kicked out, he's gone, blah, blah, and we just eat it up because we're just hungry for it. But, yeah, so apparently there's a couple of things that have happened. The first thing was there hasn't been any progress so far as negotiating a new contract with Secret Hideout and Paramount. So that suggests they're not moving forward, but may just be they're waiting for something like the court case with CBS and all that to end and all the Trump drama to end. And the other rumour is that they haven't just not pursued the new contract and started putting together the new contract. They've actually been inquiring the circumstances of the contract ending or being cancelled. How soon can they go on with developing a new show of new people? And apparently they don't have to wait like Netflix. When Netflix cancelled all the superhero shows because they were going to be going to another streamer and all that. They basically would have been making content for someone else, another streamer. They cancelled it, but Disney had to wait like 3 years before they could make new shows. That was sort of a way for Netflix to make sure that it didn't damage their shows, have them just switch to someone else making their shows basically. There isn't any clause like that, so the second the contract finishes they can start making new Star Trek with new people, but I don't think they can do anything while the contract is active. They can't even interview people about would you like to do a Star Trek show with us. So that's the only real issue. If they do end the contract, they don't pick up the contract and then leave it where it is. They have to wait until the contract finishes, which is like another year before they can actually contact anyone about even making a Star Trek, thinking about making a Star Trek show. If that's the case, it'll probably be 2 years before we actually see something being released. And even if that's they start on day one, already prepared around it. But so that's a couple of things. But the other thing that we're hearing is that because the CFC is controlled by Trump, Trump is using that to bully Paramount into paying out for the CBS lawsuit because Trump wants money because that's what he's all about. And they are sort of blackmailing them with Star Trek and sort of saying, well, if you don't, de-woke Star Trek and get rid of like Kurtzman and people like that, and it's not just Kurtzman they've targeted, then we're not going to approve this deal. You're not going to get the Skydance going through. So that's sort of one variation of the rumor. The other variation of the rumor is that they actually offered Kurtzman up. Like, yeah, okay, what if we get rid of Kurtzman and we de-woke Star Trek, can you let us through? Like, is that going to be enough? Like, because they want them to remove anything progressive and get rid of their DEI and everything. Basically, they need to get approved by Trump's conservative CFC before they are actually allowed to merge and continue. And if they're not allowed to merge, they're not allowed to sell the shares and have Skydance take controlling interest in Paramount, they're going to have to rethink everything and start from scratch. And Skydance is going to want to get the money back that they have invested in sort of preparing to take over, preparing Paramount and everything. So it'd be a huge mess if that happened. But that's the talk. The talk's that Trump basically, his people have basically threatened if you don't, clean up your network and make it, take it backwards in time, regress your network back before DEI and anything like that, the deal's not going to go through and, it's going to be a disaster for you. So they're talking about giving them Star Trek and saying, okay, we'll get rid of this guy who's created all this woke stuff, and we'll create a more conservative Star Trek. Whether they actually do that, because once they get approved, they can pretty much do whatever they want. That's why Trump is able to, and these people are able to blackmail them now, because they couldn't have made them do anything with their studio. They could make whatever they wanted to. But in this circumstance, they might have to actually cater to him to get the deal through. So that it would be good in a way if this is forcing them to get rid of Kurtzman, because it doesn't mean the next Star Trek show can't be brilliant and progressive and woke, but just not as Kurtzman as the Kurtzman shows. So I wouldn't mind that if something good came out of Trump's dictatorship and bullying, but we'll see what happens. We'll know soon enough. Before we know, this will all be over with. But in the meantime, it is tedious trying to work out what the hell's happening and all the rumours and stuff. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the whole Kurtzman versus, I guess, Skydance versus the CFC, Trump, all that. It's a bit of a mess. I do believe he's putting pressure on them. I do believe they've pointed out certain things. But whether they're willing to sacrifice that, or whether they've been told, to actually literally cancel and remove things. Because the other thing is, the other talk is they're talking of buying the contract out. If they buy the contract out, they don't have to finish Strange New Worlds season 4 or 5. They don't have to do season 2 of Starfleet Academy. They can just cancel it where it is. Whereas if they keep the contract in place, but just don't continue it, then Kurzman will be able to finish Starfleet Academy Season 2 and Season 4 and 5 of Strange New Worlds. So it will also affect that if they just cancel it, if they buy it out rather than just waiting it out. There'll be different circumstances. I mean, it doesn't start them, they can't start producing a new show any sooner, but they wouldn't be paying out for their share of producing those shows. So they'd be saving money if they probably saving money if they bought out the contract, but that's just it. It may end up costing about the same, so it's not worth doing. So who knows what they're going to do. I've been talking way longer than I meant to. I'm going to go.